Guys, I'm the Messiah here. I'm fixing the technology. Okay? Don't stop the cameras. Okay? Leave the camera. I'm in control of quantum computing. Okay? So, when people try to manipulate people with the technology, it goes after the people that are manipulating the technology to deny us the Lord's Prayer. Okay? Don't stop the camera when I'm talking. I know what I'm doing. Okay? You're going to have to succumb to the fact, I sit there and look just as, okay, I got this. He didn't want me to talk about that. Well, yeah, I have to talk about it. Well, because life is eternal and grace is infinite. And you can't hide behind fear of people threatening you with death if you don't accept them as authority over your life. Okay, do you understand? Okay? I was talking about flock cameras and about how you guys are all freaking out about flock cameras and how people misuse them. Okay? People misuse everything. Kitchen knives, guns, cars. Okay? The problem isn't the inventions and the equipment as much as is it the lack of values, the lack of morals, the lack of understanding, the lack of dignity, the lack of empathy, the lack of respect. Okay? And people that are involved in inventing equipment that monitors our existence, okay? The one person, they've monitored the most of his life. And people will look at my life and they will choose sides, and that's what happened, And depending on your perspective, your political affiliation, and your perspective, what you think is views, what side you're going to choose. My mom or my dad. And Corey did that once with Patrick, with me, and Stephanie. And the way I raised Patrick was, you got to love your parents for who you are and not for what they want to be. And Corey says, no, you got to love one more than the other. Your mom takes all the money and goes to the bar and screws around, and your dad takes care of you. So which one do you like better? So I don't love either one better. I have to love them for who they are, right? And so it was like, that backfired. No, it didn't backfire. Patrick was manipulated by Kay and Stephanie because he was being selfish, and they encouraged his selfishness. And the state was doing it and was the cause of it. Okay. You don't understand causality as well as you think you do. If you're not looking at life eternally and understand what causes problems and what stops the cause of problems. Do you guys understand? Okay. I wanted to go to bed. I'm really fucking tired. But I knew when the Nightline thing came on about these flock cameras and how stupid you guys are acting. Okay. Just forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. Okay. There's nothing wrong with having soft surveillance cameras to help us keep people safe from aggressive violent activities, especially with the inventions that we have and how far they've gone with the capacity to manipulate and dictate and legislate through extortion and exploitation being accepted. When you eliminate the acceptance of delusions of human authority through extortion and exploitation, soft surveillance is going to be very good tools to keep us safe from people that are still going rogue because they're selfish and they think they can have the freedom to do whatever they fucking want. Okay? And guys, there is no such thing as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Okay? You cannot invent human authority that manipulates people with debt and trespass. Okay? And if you believe in that, you are so fucking stupid. You might want to take that simplified t-shirt, okay, and shred it up, and don't flush it because it'll probably clog your toilet. Okay? Use it to clean up cat poop or something in the backyard. Okay? And Semper Fi means to do or die. Okay? Okay, stand up for a Lord's Prayer or die trying. If you can't do that, take your t-shirt and use it to pick up poop and move it out of people's yards because it's the law, right? So I'm cranky. I'm very cranky and I'm tired of this shit. I'm not gonna make this one very long. We're gonna get it loaded and then I'm gonna go to bed and get some sleep because I need it, because it's very healthy for me, and I'm a more healthy person than the people that are interrupting my sleep with their fucked up technology. Okay. No, Jeff knows how tough I am. Okay? He has a real admiration and respect for my mom through surveillance, and I understand that. Okay? And you got to understand, it was surveillance that caused most of the problems between my parents. And if there hadn't been surveillance manipulating them with surveillance with people that were manipulating them with debt and trespass, you wouldn't be able to judge them because you wouldn't be watching, and the story of their life and their love and their children would be radically different, right? You've got to assess the situation eternally and let me handle it. Okay. Don't be afraid of giving me information that I already know and I've already known for a while, and letting me deal with it because I know how to handle the situations. Okay? I'm not telling you to have faith in me. I'm telling you to trust me. Okay? And share my faith in infinite glory so we can eternally submit to the essence of our existence, so we can finally forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace, and enjoy holy covenants instead of, Fun Country RVs and Marine Incorporated and hamburgers held hostage by corporations that are dumb as fuck, right? I'm tired. I'm really fucking tired, and this needs to happen soon, mostly because of our ecosystem. Okay, we don't have time to play around with what's happening with our ecosystem. We saw how radically it can heal and recover when we went on COVID protocols, and we can't wait. We can't go back to business as usual because your business is insane, and this is stupid. Watching people play deadly games with snakes. This doesn't make any sense to act this stupid. It just does not make sense. Okay? Unless you're handling snakes to get snake venom or something like that. I don't know. I don't know why, people would do this with a poisonous snake. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? I don't see pets as pets. I see them as a symbiotic relationship that helps us through mutual benefit, as far as cats and dogs. If you're taking an animal and turning it into a pet, you're seeing it as a sign of ownership. It says legal and illegal lizards or whatever. I don't understand. Okay? You do not own animals. Okay? You have a symbiotic relationship with animals. And domesticated dogs and cats, it's a very intelligent one. I mean, I guess you could I don't know. Snakes aren't domesticated nearly as well as dogs or cats. Dogs can be problematic. Some of them, yes. Cats can too. They can be really mean. I don't understand your guys' fascination and fixation, okay, with the manipulation of animals. It has never been a big thing of mine. I like them. I usually end up with them because of other people's decisions, not because of my own. And that's mainly been because of manipulation through economics. Okay. And but I've never really understood this whole, my son has lots of snakes. My daughter has snakes. My other one has rats because Amy had one when she was young. I just know. And I would not know tigers or lions and things. No. It's I don't like zoos. I like that. I like understanding animals, okay? But as far as putting them in cages and studying them and treating them as if they're human and stuff like that, I think that's demeaning to the animal. And you got to understand, chimpanzees can rip your face off. They're very strong. They had that one lady that had, stuff, and it's just you're putting yourself in very dangerous situations that are literally unnecessary. Okay. If it's necessary to do something, do it. But if it's not necessary to do it, why are you doing it? It's necessary and intelligent to understand animals. It's necessary and intelligent to respect animals. Like the Dene talk about with the rattlesnake and other things. And, when animals become too many and get too aggressive and can kill your children because they're predatory, it's necessary to realize that even though he's a dumbass, even dumbasses have something to contribute. Not even as a bad example, Ted Nugent. He goes hunting, and where we come from, people, farmers are an extension of what's perceived as hunter-gatherers. Okay, and so you just have to realize that. I think a lot of the reason why you guys do that with animals is it makes you feel, powerful or impressive or in control of something. And I understand. I've dealt with animals, and you know me, legend around here with me and Zeke and the dogs and and the pit bulls in the middle of the street and stuff. And I understood that little guy. Okay? He had that little girl in the yard, and people around. It was the same thing that Little Hawk told me about the owl that kept hitting me in the head, because all the people around me were scared of me because of who I am and the military's reaction to him. And the same thing happened with the dog, because people around me were scared, and he had the little girl and thing, and the pheromones and stuff. It's not because I'm a predatory assassin for the military. It's because you could feel the pheromones of the predatory assassins from the military present around me. So the dog reacted to the group pheromones. And so you sit there and look at it and go, oh yeah, it makes sense. So do you understand? I like Jeff Hinton. I like him a lot. It's like, gosh, this guy. Yeah, it's I'm me for a reason, and this is a huge responsibility, being me. And it's not one I shy away from. It's just one I don't want the spotlight. The thing, Jesus told me this numerous times. He says those that want to be the Messiah cannot be, and those that can be the Messiah don't want to be, because we know once they're living the peace and accepting the truth of the commands, you don't need to be. And that's why the Messiah is the Messiah and other people are not. And it makes sense. He told me that all the time. Those that want to cannot, and those that can do not want to. Okay. The Messiah doesn't want to be the Messiah. He wants people to submit to faith in the glory of God and stop wanting to be the center of attention and the one that everybody looks through as the great speakers and keepers of God. And so he's very intelligent. God's omniscient, omnipotent. Now worship God properly. Go home and love your family. Stop trying to pray God in your community, because you're not. Okay? Just empathy and respect, and then you don't have to go to banana ball games anymore, because people don't need all that attention for make-believe money. Forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful, peace. Then if you want to do the banana ball thing, go do it. Okay. But if you got better things you can do with your time, like love your children and teach them not to be overly attention-seeking, because that's bad brain activity, and it gets people driving around in cars and doing things they should not be doing, because it's not healthy for one another or our planet. Okay, guys, I love you very much. I'm going to go to bed. Okay. I didn't want to talk, but the damn TV was on. I should have turned it off before I went in the tub and soaked and listened to my videos. I love you very much. Note to self, turn the fucking TV off. It was Charlie Daniels, LA via Omaha. Okay, guys, I love you. All right, peace out. I didn't write it down. I just remembered. Okay, peace out.